We have a lot to talk about today with One Punch Man chapter 158, as Murata decided to do what he does best and deliver a banger chapter as always. We had action, heartfelt moments, and then some more action as Garou and Metal Bat continued their epic team up against Sage Centipede. Today we're going to break it down bit by bit, so without further ado, what? This cold is going to kill me. Welcome back everyone, it's time to go balls deep into One Punch Man chapter 158, titled Too Bad. It starts off with the hero and the anti-hero Garou teaming up from the last chapter. They are performing some of their ultimate techniques. Metal Bat uses his Savage Tornado, whilst Garou uses his Whirlwind Water Stream Roaring Aura Sky Ripping Fist. Garou, I am going to have to politely ask you to calm down with the long names. This is some Minato level of technique naming. Both of them attacked Sage Centipede simultaneously in its face and upper body. However, Metal Bat notices that his attacks have no effect and that Garou's attack seems to be working, but despite that, even if they do manage to crack Sage Centipede's shell, it just keeps regenerating. Even Sage Centipede says that Metal Bat is too weak to even consider him a threat, and that the real issue here is Garou. He wonders if he should take Metal Bat hostage to use him as a meat shield and prevent Garou from attacking him. You know, typical villain shit. We gotta remember that this is Garou and Metal Bat we're talking about here. I actually think that if Sage Centipede took one of them hostage, the other would actually love it, and Sage Centipede then comes to the same conclusion as us. But Garou has a plan to deal with the problem they're facing against the regeneration and says that they need to destroy Sage Centipede's entire body from head to tail all at once, because otherwise it will just keep regenerating. Metal Bat, however, doesn't agree with the plan and begins to question how many S-class heroes would have to help to even stand a chance at succeeding. Meanwhile, whilst they're trying to figure out how exactly they can defeat this unknown level monster, Sage Centipede manages to catch up to the helicopter it was chasing since last chapter. Yes, the very same one that Garou is trying to protect. Remember that Tareo, the kid that Garou considers as family, is inside this helicopter, and so the only reason Garou is trying to protect it is because Tareo is on the heli. All of these A and B class heroes honestly would be dead already if it weren't for Tareo. Even Waganma, you know, the snotty rich kid that left Tareo behind to save his stupid ass. Remember guys, all my homies hate Waganma. Come on, I want to hear you guys saying it too. Comment down below. All my homies hate Waganma, and you just might get a shout out in our next video. This way it lets us know that you guys are enjoying the One Punch Man content and want to keep seeing more. So make sure you ding that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future One Punch Man content. Anyways, coming back to the chapter, as Sage Centipede starts to get close to the helicopter, A-class hero One-Shotter starts firing sniper shots at it in the attempt to slow it down. But ever since his fight with Nyan Cat in chapter 114, no, not that Nyan Cat, the evil one, that's the one. But back then he lost his dominant eye and is now unable to fire accurate shots and provide support to the heroes fighting as he runs the risk of hitting them. However, we see that Sage Centipede is able to catch the helicopter using the antennas on its face as ropes. And now Garou and Metal Bat have to worry about the passengers on the helicopter even more, since Sage Centipede can crush them at any time. Okay, pause. Can we just admire for a second the art in this manga? Like, Murata and his team be delivering some of that good stuff every single time. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Where were we? Oh yeah. After this, Sage Centipede asks them if they are done jumping around like the fleas that they are now that he has the passengers on the helicopter as hostage. In a way, Sage Centipede did follow up in his plan to take a hostage to gain the upper hand in the fight. Like I mentioned, he originally wanted to take Metal Bat. However, he realized that Garou had no connection to it. But he knows that the helicopter, on the other hand, does, as Garou tried so hard to protect it in the last chapter. So he uses his brain and treats that as his hostage instead. We then transition over to the point of view of the helicopter and see that Tareo is able to recognize Garou as his uncle, even with him going through this monstification phase. And I will say it again, okay? Tareo and Garou's relationship is peak One Punch Man. The symbolism behind these two is just absolutely mwah. I love it. Tareo is Garou's humanity, and no matter how much Garou tries to push it away by telling him to go home, Garou keeps on saving him, saving the human side of himself, despite its weaknesses and vulnerability. When Tareo isn't around, Garou's monstification continues to grow. But despite that, Tareo still recognizes Garou. It perfectly symbolizes that no matter how much Garou tries to become the monster he desires to be, he is still a human at heart. But back to the chapter, whilst Garou and Metal Bat are distracted, Sage Centipede uses this chance to attack them with his Centipede Grand March that even changes the entire terrain that they are fighting on? What? That means that this one attack from Sage Centipede was able to change the terrain of an entire city. What? That is busted. During this mess, Gear Spear approaches One Shotter to tell him that he'll be the dominant eye, as by using his psychic powers, he is able to connect his eyes with One Shotter's brain, allowing him to accurately shoot his weapon. We then cut to Sage Centipede capturing Garou and gripping him with his hand or feet. I don't really know. What do centipedes have? They look like hands, but then he walks on them, so they're kind of feet, but then he's grabbing them. Hands, feet. Anyway, suddenly Garou senses something. An unknown energy coming from the helicopter. As Sage Centipede is about to slash Garou, One Shotter shoots all of Sage's eyes, distracting him enough to give Garou a chance to escape. He then goes full Jotaro mode, hitting him with the good old Ora, 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 ora! God, that was so cringe. And I'm ill. Why am I doing this to myself? But more importantly, Garou out here showing everyone who the monster god and the drip god really is. Okay, no, guys, I think I'm going to die. I'm going to go rest up and spend my final moments reading One Punch Man from the beginning again, because that is truly the only real medicine in life. So for now, Sid, please take the mic.
Don't worry, Harrison, I got you. Let me take over and save this video, just like the passengers of the helicopter got saved by Garou. So the passengers in the helicopter start celebrating, but even as they're doing so, they can't help but notice the tremendous amount of strength Garou has, all whilst One Shotter is unable to reload his sniper for more support. You know why? Because he's only an A class. I don't even know his name. Garou, on the other hand, is still trying to get Sage Centipede to lose his grip of the helicopter, but gets caught off guard by him as Sage Centipede is about to attack him. But this is when we hear someone scream, "Out of the way!" And this someone is none other than Metal freaking Bat, coming and flying with a spiral of overwhelming victory and slashes both of Sage Centipede's tentacles right off, displaying his growth he has had during the fight, from being unable to inflict any damage to now being able to cut through Sage Centipede's hard shell. He is broken now. Understandably, Sage Centipede is in utter shock. He can't believe how Metal Bat is still standing. After all, Sage Centipede did deal heavy damage to him all over his body. Look how bloody this man is. Metal Bat responds in a way that makes him believe to be the most manliest way to express himself, that a man is the strongest when he has somebody to protect. Not only are these the words of a true S-class hero, but it is also a subtle nod to what Harrison person was saying about Garou's humanity. Although he is trying so hard to become a monster, he is trying to save Tareo, thus being a man at heart still. But continuing on, by now it's apparent that Metal Bat grows stronger and stronger as he takes hits. This is his superpower. Metal Bat's mental and physical capabilities increase exponentially when he's in a pinch. This has saved him many times, and even Garou is glad to see this since he knows what Metal Bat is capable of. However, none of their efforts will matter if they can't get rid of their enemy. It's impossible for the two to simply keep tanking the monster's attack and wait for it to slip up. This is when Metal Bat remembers that there is a net 500 meters ahead. He relays this info to Garou, who is trying to stabilize the helicopter. Garou immediately understands what Metal Bat's plan is and throws the helicopter in that direction. Normally, there would be a good chance that Garou would miss the mark and the people in the helicopter would simply die, but that won't be the case anymore. As we have seen in the recent chapters, that Garou's vision has improved significantly as well, allowing him to see things clearly at long distances. The helicopter then lands safely in the netting, creating enough distance for Garou and Metal Bat to work. Both of them take their respective stance and are ready to fight. Metal Bat is shown to have the fire in his eyes, literally signifying the newfound super strength he's about to unlock. He's overflowing with determination and confidence. He announces that they have got to get rid of Sage Centipede and that he'll do it alone. Garou denies this and says that he'll handle the monster alone. As the two quarrel, Sage Centipede is getting angry as he believes that both Garou and Metal Bat are nothing but insects in front of him and his 6,666 legs. That's honestly such a weird flex since, well, you know, having so many legs isn't the most optimal thing. Anyways, the Sage Centipede starts moving its 6,666 legs to basically turn into a drill and attack Garou and Metal Bat. Garou asks Metal if he has a way to deal with the Sage Centipede's instant regeneration, to which he replies, "We just gotta smash every inch of its body." His own expression says that he is a bit embarrassed about this and that his only muscle brain can't think of anything better. While Garou of course expected this answer, he can't think of anything better either. As the Sage Centipede approaches, Garou starts using his whirlwind water stream, while Metal Bat channels his fighting spirit. The two then launch a massive combo attack of Cross Fang, Dragon Slayer Fist, and Savage Hurricane all over the monster's body as it rotates aggressively. While the two won't be able to deal a lot of damage alone, their combination attack worked perfectly and damaged the Sage Centipede even though he has near instant regeneration. They weren't lying about just smashing him, you know. That's some good beating he got. Sage Centipede was flabbergasted by the sheer synergy these two showed. It's obvious the Sage Centipede would be extremely surprised since the two can be seen quarreling and disagreeing all the time. Moreover, Garou is a monster while Metal Bat is human, making them even more incompatible. As it turns out though, he was right. The two didn't try to match their attacks at all. The truth is that while there is a major gap in between their actual power, the very nature of their fighting style is extremely similar. Both rely heavily on strength and spirit, and while Metal Bat seems to be extremely rash, his fighting instincts are extremely sharp. Garou is the perfect combination of handcrafted martial arts and monstrosity. Through this connection between their fighting style, their powers ended up resonating with the others, creating an amplification effect which led both Garou and Metal Bat to help each other gain an exponential boost in their powers. Metal Bat, who could barely create a dent on the Sage Centipede alone, managed to smash through his super hard exoskeleton. However, Metal Bat is then sent flying from a punch from the Sage Centipede, causing him to be almost unconscious. On the other hand, Garou is still going strong. In fact, he's even stronger. Garou blitzed through the center of Sage Centipede and left a massive hole in his body. This time, the hole won't regenerate either. Sage Centipede was losing his mind and panicking when Garou revealed this strategy. When regenerating, a certain spot in the centipede's body would release energy, which Garou noticed using his newfound abilities. He also says that he has seen something similar, and we can see Orochi in the background. We all know that the Orochi fight didn't go so well for Garou, although the experience did come in clutch for him. In fact, in page 15 of this very chapter, we can see Garou sensing the energy emitted by Gearspur, a hero. It's no easy task to do, especially when you're about to be eaten alive. Coming back to the fight though, Garou throws the Sage Centipede's core in the air as the monster tries to take it back, and now it's a race. Garou jumps to finish off the core while the Sage Centipede also tries his hardest to retrieve its core. Even though the chapter ends here, we know that Garou will be able to destroy the core first. Even if he can, it's not like the Sage Centipede can use his 6,666 hands to form a transplant and reattach its core without any complication. Overall, this was another banger chapter in the series which will serve its purpose in the later stages of this arc. We already unlocked a higher level of power, however, it seems like the growth burst isn't as huge as before, which may indicate that either Garou is reaching his true limits or that the monsters he's facing simply aren't strong enough to help him ascend higher. Whatever it is, I don't think that it'll be too long before we reach the climax of Garou's character. Anyways, if you guys like this video, then go check out our last One Punch Man review and stay tuned because we are coming out with more explanations in the One Punch Man lore. And we're even gonna break down what's gonna happen in the eventual fight between Garou versus Saitama.